Now, today's topic is globalizations. Now, first thing we need to know is that globalization is the process of interacting states market with the world market. That means we can say internationalizations of trade. Next thing, it is based on the assumptions that the whole world is one global village where there is socio-economic interdependence of goods and services. Now, it means that through globalizations, there will be exchange of commodities and services among the nations, and thus it will leads to interdependence among the nations and will promote internationalism. Okay. Now, next topics what you need to know about globalization is the circumstances leading to globalizations, means what were the causes that leads to globalizations. First one, that is developments in the fields of science and technology. It is one of the factor. Now, due to development in this field, means transport and communications developed. Okay. Now, in very faster mode, many deals could be done among the nations. Next thing is that revolutions in informations technology and electronics media. Now, it is one of the most important factor. Okay. So that means you just see different international dealings. Okay. Transactions. Okay, even different types of money transactions in at the international levels, it could be done with the help of this informations technology. Okay. And even we came to know about different products of different countries through electronics media. Okay, next one is that advancement in the field of transport and communications. Already I have made it under the means it could be included under the development in the field of science and technology. Now, fourth one is that collapse of communism and the end of Cold War. Now, it is also one of the important factors. We all know that communism or means generally tries to promote one types of socialist economy, that means state control economy. Now, whereas this group means just after the end of communism, there was a trend, means even a trend that market should be liberalized. Okay, where different um, companies from different countries could come and do their market. Okay, they could sell their products. Next one is the increased interdependence of nations. Now, definitely means for a particular commodity, one country need to depend on the other country. Okay. Now, you just see, means for petrol we need to depend for to the Middle East countries. Okay. Now, like this way means it leads to globalizations. Now, what are the consequences of globalizations, means what are the effects of globalizations. Now, it could be it could be categorized under three titles. First one is about political effects, then economic effects, then cultural effects. Now, what are the political effects of globalizations? Now, first thing is that globalizations has affected the traditional concept of state sovereignty. Now, what do you mean by sovereignty? Sovereignty means where government could frame its own policy. But due to globalizations, you just see nowadays the capital investment or the capital flow or the means generally it is dominating the political arena. Today, the big corporate decide that which government will rule because they spend huge amount of money in this uh, during elections. Okay, and thus to whatever government they will promote, that government will come to the power and do the work in favor of that particular company. Okay, generally, in other words, we can say that this global capital flow that emerged due to globalizations generally limits our democracy. Okay. Now, even you could see that the concept of welfare state has been reduced by a more minimalized states all over the world. Now, why minimalized state? Because state only maintain law and order and defense against foreign aggressions. Now, s- means this within this thing, the state or the government is confirmed. Okay, but the market is flowing on its own will. Okay, that generally decides by the big corporates or the MNCs. Now, due to globalizations, market factors becomes the principal role in the world. That means each and everything is nowadays uh, means depends more or less is a commodity. Okay, mainly the things are depend like buying and sellings of the products. Next thing, what are the economic consequence of globalizations? Now, economic globalizations normally deals with economic flows between different countries. Now, sometime it depends, means it is influenced by cooperations among the nations, but while sometime it forced by international institutions and powerful nations. Now, what do you mean by sometime forced by international institutions? Now, it means international institutions is IMF, World Bank. Now, generally, they sometimes pressurize underdeveloped countries to purchase products from the developed countries. Okay, to liberalize their market. Now, even means this is one of the means I can say that it is one of the negative aspects of globalizations. Clear. Now, due to this, what will happen? That the developed country will be more developed and the underdeveloped countries will lag behind. Okay, means economic inequality will be more in those countries. Oh, now next thing, what you need to know. Now, those who are champions of this social justice, they view that globalizations only benefit a marginalized sections of the populations. Definitely this thing is that means you can say that the survival of the fittest. Okay, because whenever there is the competition is open, now more competitors will be there. Now in that, who will get the benefit? Who is generally strong? Okay, means generally it depends on the survival of the fittest concept. You just see the compound means our you just compare this thing, uh, this particular topics with this with Indian scenario. You just see many Indian companies, take example of the jute mills, means they fail to compete in the global market. Okay, and for that what happened? Means many of the mills we had seen that the owner had to shut down. Even means many of them lost their jobs also. Next thing is that, however, those who are in favor of economic globalizations view that globalizations bring greater economic growth and well-beings for a country's populations. Now, many of them argued that due to globalizations, means there is exchange of goods and services. Okay, means exchange of labors also. Means it creates great job opportunities. Now, this is also one of the positive aspects of globalizations. Now, what are the cultural consequences of globalizations? Now, in the cultural concepts, we see that globalization has affected our domestic life, like food, drinks, dress, and ideas. Okay, means it has led to the shrinking of rich cultural diversity of the world and only impositions of the Western culture. Why? Because you just take the example of jeans culture, usages of fast food like burger. Okay, means generally you can say that uh, means in many of the places we had seen the US culture. Okay, means it was by force imposed on it. Even in India you will see that many that's due to globalizations, in many urban areas the lifestyle had changed. Okay, means one sort of cultural dominations. So this economic, political, and cultural consequence of globalizations, this thing you need to know. Now, who resist to globalizations? Now, generally from the leftist side, they why they resist? They argued that globalizations is particular phase of global capitalism which makes rich nation richer and poor nations poorer. Again, you just say means you can compare that those countries which are much more developed. Okay, definitely they are also technologically developed. So that is why what happened, their commodities are much more cheaper, and even they can means invest huge amount of money in advertisement, and thus what happened means their market will be more, peoples will purchase more their goods compared to a company in a developed country, because they are less technologically developed. So that is why what happened, the leftists argued that the developed countries will become much more developed compared to the poorer nations. So that is why they resist, they protest against these globalizations. Now what now leftist means generally those who are in favor of socialist economy. Now rightist, okay, now rightist party means what means generally they are in favor, though they are in favor of capitalist economy, but from one point of view they generally protest this globalization, because uh, they want to lay emphasis to self reliance, okay, a particular country, and they believe that globalization should harm the age old values of people, harming their traditional political culture. Okay, as we had seen that due to globalizations means there is flow of Western culture. So that is why this right is protested, that generally it exploit the indigenous culture of a particular country. So that is why the rightist party protested. Now just to make it more clear, the leftist party here means in the Indian context is the Communist Party, CPIM, means all over the world they are considered as a leftist party. Now rightist party in the Indian context you can consider it as like Bharatiya Janata Party. Now they are the rightist party, okay, and many other parties are also there. Next one, India and resistance to globalizations. Now left wings have protested the globalizations, okay. Now means in India, means which parties generally protest against the globalizations. Now left wings have protested the globalizations. Next is that even the trade union, workers movements, and farmer agitations against monopoly of these MNCs. Now MNCs generally played a leading role in globalizations, multinational companies. Okay, they generally made contacts with the local companies, okay, and they purchase good at the cheap rates, and then in a branded name they generally sell it to the people. Now for these means generally there is the retail market is totally means generally uh, totally suffering loss, okay, due to this MNCs, the retail market. And third, means for this reason this trade union protested against these globalizations. Now rightist parties in India protested because of cultural dominations due to globalizations, which include westernizations of dresses of girl students and celebrations of Valentine's Day, etc. Now these are the things for the cultural dominations generally the rightist parties are protesting, okay, and leftist parties are protesting generally for the from the economics perspectives. Clear? Okay, till this much, thank you.